So this is going to serve multiple purposes.
Okay.
We're going to kill a lot of birds with
How many
one stone.
stones? Okay.
Just one stone.
Okay.
Because we've got 360 kilometers to go, not kilometers.
Potato. It's asparagus.
Like you have this, you choose to say kilometers, just like you choose to say Chatham County.
Because it's more fun.
It's not Chatham County.
It could be.
But I wanted to respond to some comments, but also point out that driving through now Brandon, it's culture shock out here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like neon yellow, green,
There's a lot
glowing
of canola.
Canola.
That's what it is. I looked it up. So it says that in Manitoba, I think it's and Alberta and Saskatchewan, right now, or this time of year, when it's bright yellow like that, it means that the canola fields are prime. Meaning, I guess it's time to suck up all the canola.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a whole lot. It makes me think of that movie, War of the Worlds, when it's spraying all the red stuff everywhere. I mean, that's like people, but it made me think of it for some reason.
Look at that one. That one's crazy.
Look, I'm going to try to move this around anyway. Don't flip. Y'all, this is really bad. Hard to do. Nope. There we go. Can y'all see that? We keep seeing like miles and miles and miles of that neon yellow, which is kind of neat. Even though I think canola oil is not supposed to be great for you, so I don't know. All right, let's see if I can get this back in place.
So
y'all deal with me.
We just got fuel in Brandon.
I think that's good.
This is 1. I assume it's Highway 1.
Probably.
This is the Assiniboine River.
I don't know how you're supposed to say that.
Assiniboine River.
Something like that.
Assiniboine? Boine?
I still haven't figured it. Assiniboine. I think is what it is. Assiniboine. I don't know.
So it took us a minute to get out here, and we still have 357 kilometers to go till we get to Regina. Before we reach Moose Knuckle, Saskatchewan.
That's why you should let me call it Regina if you're going to talk about
Moose Knuckle, Saskatchewan.
It's not what it is. It's Moose Jaw.
Oh, sorry. Still learning here.
Still learning.
But the server we had last night at Brown Social House said she moved from Brandon to Winnipeg for a job opportunity. So we just glanced looking. We get to get fuel. Like it's like
you can understand why.
Yeah.
There's nothing out here but bright yellow fields and farming stuff.
Yeah.
She doesn't look. She didn't look like the kind.
I was about to say that. I was about to say that.
She doesn't look like the kind of girl that wants to farm. Doesn't mean she couldn't or wouldn't, but she doesn't look like she wants to.
I was about to say that, but man, it's so vast out here. But I've seen people like her on YouTube farming, and they get a lot of attention because
they're attractive.
And they're running these giant combines, like super impressive stuff.
Yeah.
Which, the lady, she let me climb up in the combine in Shaw, Mississippi.
I remember that.
And the Joker's huge, but it's like to be able to operate it and manage these farms and everything. But that's one thing. Creating a YouTube channel and content around it's another thing.
Yeah. Who's the one who's like, I mean, I can be country if my accent accidentally pops out. Work really hard not to sound as Southern as I am.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know her name.
I don't know her name either, but she's super Southern.
Yeah.
But she does stuff with her dad.
Yeah, she doesn't. I don't think her videos are a lot about farming as they are being in the country.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
And I think one of the last ones I saw, they were building a house or building.
I think her dad's more into woodworking.
A barn or something
like that. Yeah.
But I've seen others that they are farming.
Those real horses just hanging out underneath the sign over there.
Yeah.
Okay, do you see the horses? She's got headphones in.
But then they have these epic drone shots and time lapse video of farming, which is really cool.
I realize why they have their heads over there. That's the only place with shade. They all have their heads underneath the sign because that's where the shade is.
Smart.
It's not even hot out here. It's 79 degrees.
Well, according to another comment that came in from Scotland, they're like, they burn at 50 degrees.
Yeah, I saw that. Maybe they were thinking Celsius.
No, because they even
With the Fahrenheit?
later on in the comment they gave another calculation. They gave both Celsius and Fahrenheit.
Okay.
But you know, some of this stuff is just interesting to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Which apparently what we're doing right now is interesting to others.
Yes, I agree.
For a variety of reasons. Some of it being the interaction between you and I, or you know what we come across, or just like a mixed bag of it all, right? I sent you a screenshot. You got your phone?
Yep.
Read that first screenshot, because this comment came in,
This
and
is
it got me.
Sorry.
It got
Just
me
realized
thinking
we're
about
crooked. Okay.
some of the challenges that people face that I never thought about until this comment came through.
Oh, it's a twofer. Okay. 7 minutes ago and 21 seconds ago, same person. Well, whenever you read it. Living life vicariously through you guys, living on a working farm and ranch. My husband and I haven't taken a vacation together since 2006, where they went to Alaska. We have taken separate vacations, but too many responsibilities on a family farm for both of us to be away at the same time. It's not a complaint, just a way of life we have chosen to live. However, love to see your adventures and love for family. God bless you in your travels, and sending lots of loves and thanks for all of the useful information.
How do you manage that? Like, a lot of people would love to have the ability to live a sustainable life and grow their own food, and you know, be not necessarily have to rely on or pay the high prices of the corporate world, right?
So are you
But
asking,
then you lock yourself into that life.
you do lock yourself into that life, but for a lot of people, they do that life because they love it, not because it yields high reward money or anything like that. But a lot of times people really like it. Like, honestly,
But sometimes you just want to take a break.
sometimes you just want to take, well, I
But
mean,
you
that's like in
can't.
everything though. Sometimes parents just want to take a break from being a parent. Sometimes spouses want to take a break and just have like a, you know what I mean?
You're absolutely right. And there are ways in which that can be accomplished. Even if you're on your own and you need to travel, you can take your pet to a kennel or have someone come to your house and take care of your pet. What service exists where you know what, will you run my farm for 2 weeks?
Now, that's the thing though, depending on the size of the farm, a lot of them have ranch hands, or they have, I don't know what the other words would be. I read a lot of romance novels. There's ranch hands in romance novels, so there's that. I feel like that's the kind of thing, like a foreman for the ranch, things like that. The one who's commenting here, I'm going to assume it's more a labor of love ranch, and it's family oriented, as she said. So they're not going to have employees and things like that. So then it comes down to, you know, leave it in the hands of somebody else. But think about this: when you have your own company, how hard is it for you to say, hey, listen, I'm going to take a week off and leave this country where I don't have any service. I want you to just have everything. I trust you to keep everything running, to keep everything going smooth, and make every single decision the way I would make the same decision. It's very difficult to do for a lot of people.
There's 2, possibly 3 scenarios. Number one is you do that and it all falls apart. Okay. Odds are, if you did that, your vacation would be terrible because you would worry.
Constantly worry, yes.
The option number 2, door number 2, is you don't get a vacation because you are constantly in communication, making every little decision.
That was us during corporate America life, constantly in communication.
So it's not a real vacation, you know? But then it's like, well, just make your, and then somebody makes a poor decision and it could cost you.
Yeah.
Flying stones, so be careful. Third one being, you have a company and you have the ability to have C-suite level executives that literally that is what they do.
Yeah.
And you don't really run the company, you more so manage on a super high level, but most small businesses aren't operating at that level.
Yeah.
Like Jamie Dimon and his involvement with JP Morgan Chase, like the tiny details, you know, on a branch level, doesn't matter. He can do whatever he wants, go wherever he wants, whenever he wants. So, but also, you know, he's got executives underneath him that are making millions of dollars a year, that want to continue making millions of dollars a year.
So they're going to make right decisions, smart choices, things like that.
People under them making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, it's different. It's different. So that one really kind of got me thinking from a position of being locked in that aspect. But then a lot of other people feel locked in because they don't have the time. They can't pull away. They have multiple jobs. They don't have the money. So
I will say, though, the fact that as a couple they have taken separate vacations, I think is also helpful for them.
That's good.
Because it means the husband is giving the wife a chance to breathe away from the farm and vice versa. Because you have to take those moments. We go out, like for us, ours is, you know, a mom or somebody will stay with the kids and we get a night out, whatever. During our separate time apart isn't like separate vacations or anything, but when I go run errands or take the kid to school, it gives him the ability to be by himself for a while. I get to be by myself for a while, and it works out.
So how and or why did we end up here?
In Canada?
Sure. But the ability to be in Canada.
How and or why? Well, it started a really long time ago, but basically working for corporate America, both of us, and then you realizing that you were doing the job of a business owner but getting paid as an employee, so why not have your own business?
I was getting paid good.
I mean, you're getting paid really good, yeah, but you're like, I can do all this on my own, why not? And we said, okay, let's do it. And so you did. And then maybe a few months after that, the kid says, man, I really wish I could hang out with you this summer instead of having to go to daycare, which she did while we both worked corporate America. So we said, okay, well, I'm done with corporate America too. And it's been that way since.
My biggest fear was staying in a career and making a lot of money.
And having no memories.
The memories and never knowing what I could have actually done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where a lot of people would fear walking away from that and failing or whatever. And my biggest fear was, you know, I make several hundreds of thousands of dollars a year working for another company, only to think, what would have happened if I tried it myself?
Yeah.
Only to never know.
Yeah.
Whereas right now, I could go back and go find a job and make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Working for someone else. But I also had the ability to experience what could have been on my own.
And for me, it was, I really liked my job, but I had a child who wanted to spend time with me, and I wasn't going to pass up that opportunity once we figured out how to make it work, because I didn't want to, when she's 18, her move out and me go, man, it was great being your mom for those 2 hours a day that I saw you for 18 years, you know? So the choices we've made up until here, I wouldn't change them because they are why we are where we are and how we are.
Again, we can go back and become employees.
Yes, easily.
You know? But I do like the ability to travel freely, explore, learn, because we were learning a lot.
Oh, yeah.
On this trip.
Yes.
We also learned what not to say when you're going through the border crossing into Canada.
Well, what he means to say is we've also learned, don't let Michelle open her mouth because I'm a talker. Like, I'm a customer service talker. I have conversation. I converse too much, and then they're like, check the car. So I did too much. It's fine. I'm just having conversations.
Epic. But I will say, we kind of knew what to expect getting to that point because we watched Kara and Nate, and even Kara and Nate got stopped. They actually had some contraband confiscated, vehicles searched on their way into Canada when they were doing full-time van life. So yeah, we're essentially like Kara and Nate. Minus
the millions of followers and
subscribers and views
and paychecks.
And they travel. They did 7
big
years.
Time. 7 years, yeah.
7 years, and now
there's a lot of airplanes.
Now their videos, like, they're going places like you never even heard of before.
That's true.
Ever, right?
Yeah, where they eat gophers for dinner.
So it's like, how did they even find
gerbils for dinner
to go do what they do? But the last short I watched from Kara and Nate, but Kara was narrating the short. They were on a flight for like 12 hours. And they get these really nice suites in first class and things like that. But in order to travel for 7 years, you're going to have to fly. You're going to have to fly some, and you are not.
Not for 12 hours. That's not happening.
Oh, that's short for them.
Oh, I know. Just, no. Do I want to see other parts of this world? Yes. Am I going to? Sure. Like, personally?
Like physically?
No.
Are you going to put the Apple VR Pros on?
No, I'm just going to watch Kara and Nate on YouTube. I'm going to write to them, Kara, if you could go here next time, would absolutely appreciate it. Thank you. I don't think they've been to Australia. I need them to go to Australia. Maybe they haven't. I haven't gone back that far on their stuff. Because I've always wanted to go to Australia. So I'd like to see that.
Maybe. Now, there was a second comment that I didn't really read all the way, but I felt like it was on a different topic.
It was. Let's see. That one says, I stopped shopping at Tractor Supply for supporting the whole gay pride in our very conservative small rural town. Moral to this story is know your consumer. Most farmers/rangers are not leaning to the liberal left agenda. Guess they didn't learn from the Bud Light fiasco. Bud Light was after Tractor Supply, I think. Yeah. Tractor Supply, they had an issue because they said there was like drag queen story time or something.
With what? Where? Tractor Supply was doing that?
Yeah. So here's my thing. I'm just going to put it out there for you. I've always had an issue with being upset at cross-dressers, like the cross-dressing like shows and stuff, which are completely different than anything that's like going above and beyond and into the areas that nobody should go into.
The areas that we will not discuss
on YouTube because we'd like to keep the channel.
If you want to have that conversation,
Patreon.
Yeah.
But you guys have to remember that before women were allowed to be in TV and plays and stuff, men played every single part. Men dressed as the women. They put on the makeup. They wore the outfits. They had the scenes with the men. That was how everything started way back when with plays and whatnot. So for men to dress as women in a entertainment way, like when Dolly Parton sings on stage, like the movie Birdcage, there's a whole thing with
the movie Ladybugs.
And the movie Ladybugs, where what's his face dresses up as a girl to be on the soccer team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with the movie She's the Man, but it's reversed. Amanda Bynes dresses up as her brother in order to play soccer on a men's team. Like, it happens, and I don't think that that's a big deal. I also don't think that being gay is, you're born that way. It is what it is. Me personally, you do you, boo, but me personally, I'm not going to boycott someplace because they are inclusive to somebody's gender, somebody's sexual preference, or somebody's race. It's not a reason I would.
If you wanted to boycott a company because of any potential wrongdoing or agenda that you don't agree with, you would not be able to be a consumer anywhere.
Yeah, because they're like, well, I can't believe you shop at Target. So-and-so's personal beliefs, and he's the one who made the gay pride shirt. I'm
it's like, okay, cool. 6 degrees of separation. Like, if you track anything back, eventually they all are cross-contaminated.
But here's the thing. If that's how you feel, none of you can go to church. Nobody can ever go to church. Catholic church, Baptist church, doesn't really matter how many priests and stuff have been caught with what they do. So it's the same thing.
They'll say, no, not my church.
Doesn't matter, because you're boycotting every single Target because one person who designs something based off of what's floating around the internet, one person who designs something has one thing inside this Target full of all these other products from mom and pop people, from small businesses.
So how many different businesses should be boycotted because of the acceptance of Caitlyn Jenner?
For some reason, the same people who have an issue with everything else don't have an issue with him, it. I don't know the phrasing. She.
Caitlyn is a Republican?
Yes, then I'm sure that's why. Which is interesting to me. Do the things that most Republicans are 100% against, but become a Republican so that then they're like, oh, well, crap, we have to like our own kind no matter what they've done. So we accept Caitlyn Jenner.
Interesting.
I know.
The other interesting thing is that there are charging stations out here in the middle of nowhere.
Also weird.
So if you wanted to take this trek across Canada 1. I don't know if this is Highway 1 or what.
It's Maple Leaf 1.
Maple Leaf 1.
Because it's a maple leaf and it has a 1 in it.
There are charging stations. every stop is like probably 30 minutes in between ish.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that this is probably similar to what we would have experienced if we would have.
Did he get out of the way? I don't know why the bird was just sitting in the middle of the road waiting for a car to come at it. Weird Canadian birds.
If we would have went east, this might have been similar to what we would have experienced if we went east. Going up through Minnesota into Ontario, heading towards Toronto. It would have been around Thunder Bay or something, I think is what the map said. But on top of that, I felt better about this after talking to at the border crossing.
Yeah.
After talking to the first girl, what was her name? Tyra. And she said she was from Brandon. So I'm like, okay, what's out west? And then we talked to Jacob, and he goes, yeah, I like to travel to, in Alberta and BC. So I was like, all right, this feels what?
You said I like to. My brain went to Madagascar. I like to move it. I like to move it.
So I felt gooder about that, right?
Gooder. I like how I'm moving off on you.
I felt more better.
More better.
So, but at the same time, the weather's better.
It's not sweater weather.
And it was this morning.
It was this morning. It was cold.
Sort of. We could have got away with a t-shirt.
Probably.
And heading east, we would have more than likely ran into wet weather.
Run into or ran into?
Rant?
Run. Ran is past tense, right? We would have likely run into. We had ran into. I don't know how this works. It's fine.
Either way, it would have been wet.
You think this stuff glows in the dark at night, so you don't really need night lights?
Oh man, can you imagine driving out here in the middle of the night?
Nope.
Nope. That's why we're gonna get where we're going before dark.
Yes.
And check out Tunnel. What did I send you?
Tunnel, the Capone thing in Moose Jaw.
Yeah.
Tunnel.
That looked pretty cool.
It did look really cool.
But
it's like an escape room, but like different.
Well, they said it's like it's an interactive play.
Yeah, interactive play, which sounds cool as long as they actually let you out when it's over.
Well, they got good reviews.
Because they said underground tunnels, and I was like,
They got good reviews, so they probably let the people out.
Okay. All of them? Just like, hopefully.
But no, the risk of flooding out here and things like that. And then the wildfires are actually, they're still happening in Canada, but they're happening up in the Northern Territory.
Yeah, somehow they've moved.
And they said, somehow. Is it like when you never used to play SimCity back in the day on the computer? Or
I was way too busy on Nintendo.
It was on Nintendo.
No, I was way too busy with Mario and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Bart, the Simpsons,
back in the day, it had
Kirby.
SimCity, right? And it was super basic. And it's literally like a top-down view. It's not like it is today. And you could choose the disaster that you wanted. And it could be fire, it could be a tornado, or it could be Godzilla or whatever. And you literally just pick and choose. I want fire over there.
I remember SimCity, but it was boring to me.
No, it was extremely boring.
Now it's a lot better, but now it's really, really weird because you're like, I want that one to be pregnant, and then there's someone who goes, pfft, and then all of a sudden there's a baby. I don't think they've shown how the baby comes out, at least. I don't think they've graduated to that yet.
I got one sitting on the computer we got to talk about with this whole new baby creation.
Oh,
which ultimately
the pods that I've talked about.
They're saying that it's going to reduce the amount of, I guess, challenging births.
Yeah. That's supposed to be like that.
So it's a good thing? All right, how about this? Let me ask you this.
Okay.
It's a good thing, right? Well, I'm not talking about babies anymore.
Okay.
We're talking about survival. We're talking about science. I just cleaned this windshield.
That thing is the size of a bird. I don't know what those are.
There's suicide hornets.
Hornets?
Or
it looks like dragonflies, but like
they are literally just trying to off themselves.
Massive.
They're just like, screw this, I'm out of here.
Well, because the windshield's so clean, they don't know what's happening, and they just smack right into it.
Yeah, it's not clean anymore.
Not anymore.
So let's talk about science. Let's talk about survival. Let's talk about evolution. Let's talk about these bugs that are just killing themselves.
Okay.
There's a reduction in the bee population that is having an impact on germination and pollination seasonally, right?
Conveniently. Seasonally, conveniently, however you want to phrase it.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, seasonally is when it happens.
Well, conveniently it happens because if you don't have the bees that are there to pollinate the stuff, then it all dies, and then the companies get to manufacture your next fruits and vegetables and stuff like that.
You say that, but we saw yesterday how scientists, or last night she showed,
I saw it.
Scientists are trying to create these autonomous, automated, digital drone, droid, AI.
That could drop anything. Pick up and drop anything.
I don't even know what to call them, but ultimately they're going to pollinate. They're going to pollinate something. They're going to pollinate instead of the bees, because the bees don't exist anymore. Again, with the babies, is this to improve and reduce the likelihood of challenging births? Well, let's talk about the pollination. Is this to improve our ability to sustain life?
No.
Continuously grow crops?
No.
Have the foods that we need to eat and the foods that are needed for our food?
No.
Why?
This is for profit. Because you could save the bees. It literally is easy to save the bees. Just save the damn bees. Quit cutting down the trees.
Not when the climate's changing.
Then why aren't we dying?
We buy coats. Patagonias. Canada Goose.
You realize people
North
raise
Face.
bees in boxes. Raise more of them. You're going to tell me you can go build a baby in a tube somewhere and you can do these things, but you can't figure out how to continue on the birth of bees?
A lot of the pesticides are killing the bees.
Well, that should tell you something too. If the pesticides kill the bees, what do you think it's doing to our innards?
What movie, or no, not what movie, what was the name of that Jurassic Park? The most recent
60.
one, I think?
Oh, not the thing we were watching in Fargo. That's not Jurassic Park.
AD was
that
absolutely
was 65.
awful. Oh.
Whatever. No,
65
it was so bad.
terrible.
You couldn't even make it. It was so bad.
Oh my God.
And I like Adam Driver, but it was so bad. And I like the girl that's in there. She used to be on a Disney show. I can't remember the name. The kid knows.
Was his daughter
Stuck
black?
in the middle? Huh?
Was his daughter black?
Mixed.
I'm only asking because I was half asleep when we started watching that movie. I feel like I remember something.
Mm-hmm.
And side note, we're going to go consume a lot of caffeine on this trip.
I'm not. I hate Red Bull.
You're drinking a Dr. Pepper.
That's not a lot of caffeine. I don't like Red Bull. I didn't say anything about Dr. Pepper. I said I don't like Red Bull.
I didn't say Red Bull. I said caffeine.
But you showed Red Bull. I don't like Red Bull. At least you know I'll never steal your drink. That's why you drink old fashions also. I won't take it.
I haven't had a Canadian old fashioned yet.
I was going to ask you because they had them on the menu at Local last night.
They did, but like you said, you didn't want a mixed drink because, again, the value play.
Value play. Yeah,
you
my
know?
little
However,
bubbly was better.
I feel like if I would have ordered an old fashioned midway through,
they would have gone high end for you. They would have made sure that it tasted good.
They were super excited that we were there.
We're so nice. Taylor,
Jacob,
Jeff probably would have been if we had gotten to keep
make
Jeff.
you feel welcome.
Yes, very much so.
Even the table behind us, though, they were pretty cool.
Yeah.
When we heard the clapping, and it was like, yo, he's like, oh, it's just another day in the Winnie. But it was like, yo, is that thunder? Because if it starts pouring down raining, we got some blocks we got to cover to get back.
Yeah.
And we were all sitting outside. And everybody kind of looked up like, oh, snap.
Yeah. Did we run? Did we all run?
But then we heard another
Help each other grab their food and go.
Another crazy sound behind us, and it was like, what in the world? Damn Pedal Tavern.
It was a bunch of screeching women. I was like, I know what that is already. It's either
it was a Pedal Tavern.
Brides, what's it called? Bachelorette party or Pedal
Brides,
Tavern?
oh, yeah.
Bachelorette party, yeah.
So,
back to your little government-owned, scientist-bred fake bees.
The Jurassic Park. What was that movie? Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Worst freaking movie ever. So pissed. They brought back the original people and then said, hey, act like you don't know how to act.
The chemistry was so
absolutely
bad.
No chemistry. Have these really shit-ass lines. We're going to put this really crappy coffee house music in the background.
They probably let AI write the script.
It was the worst movie I've ever seen.
They were like, ChatGPT, we need Jurassic Park 6.
So mad.
Type that up.
Like, Jurassic Park is such a good series. And then they said this last one, you know what, let's go big or go home. They're like, no, just go as
let's ruin
stupid
it
as
now.
possible.
I'm getting on a tangent here.
I'm sorry, I'm getting
swirling
tiffed.
off. You're wearing off on me.
You're welcome.
But we haven't watched Fast X or Fast 10 because we know it's going to be terrible.
And they made Jason Momoa gay in it. Which
did they really?
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
So,
they made Aquaman.
So she tells me, kid tells me, she's like, Chris Evans just got engaged or got married or something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm sure he's a lovely man. And she starts laughing because I'm making fun of his brother.
Yeah.
But either way, it's just a joke. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But what was that movie? Mission Impossible, the new one. Death Reckoning Part 1?
Oh God, I knew better to
Or
do
Dead
that.
Reckoning Part 1?
Sure.
We should have went and watched it when we could, because Tom Cruise.
It just came out on the 12th.
Oh, on the 12th?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it came out when we were in Atlanta, because they said that he popped up in Atlanta at one of the theaters. Nobody knew he was going to be there.
Are you serious right now?
Now, that is a
Travel.
series that I don't think is going to ever disappoint as long as he's involved with it.
I believe the same thing with Bond.
No. As long as Tom Cruise is involved, which Tom Cruise saved Mission Impossible.
He saved Mission Impossible because they wanted it to be done after the third one.
He
And he was
saved
like,
it.
we're still going.
He says, I'm a fund it.
That's why the music for the first three is one song, and then if you get to number 4, you notice there's like a little bitty tweak to it, and it's because he wasn't allowed to use the original Mission Impossible music.
He does all his own stunts?
He does.
They said he did like 200 halo jumps for, I think it was
Halo jump?
high altitude, low opening.
Oh.
You remember when he did the one with Superman? What was the Superman guy's name? They jumped out.
Oh yeah, him.
And
I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about.
When he lost his oxygen?
Yes.
They said every time that he would show up for rehearsal, he would fly in and make the jump.
Well, I mean, he flew his own fighter jet in Maverick.
They wouldn't let him fly certain jets because of
governmentness, but
reasoning.
Maverick is one of the best movies
I think
ever.
he flew the plane in American made. So yeah, he's like
Tom Cruise is kind of. He might be a little batshit crazy with a Scientology thing, but
you catch the man jumping on somebody's couch, you think he's crazy. I ain't put my feet on that man's couch.
I would like to see you jump up on the couch and scream from the rooftops how crazy you are about me. That didn't work out well for him. Katie Holmes was like, no.
But no, I think as long as he's involved, that is not going to disappoint.
No, I agree.
Bond's a little bit of a different story. Daniel Craig, in my opinion, did a great job.
Yes.
Where we go from there is anybody's guess. And it has a lot to do with the writing, the acting, and the directing.
Yeah.
Because over the course of 10 plus Fast and Furious installments, maybe really 12, when you think about Hobbs and Shaw or whatever else was out there, they changed writers and producers.
And you can tell each time they've changed.
Yeah.
They should have stuck with whoever did number 1 and left it alone.
But done with my squirreling, back to Jurassic Park.
No, he's not.
The last one, I don't remember what it was called. Spoiler alert, there was government or corporate intervention in the production of crops.
Which there already has been.
And the crops that survived and the crops that didn't survive.
Yeah, that's already happening. That's already happening. If you ever want to watch, what documentary is it? I don't think it's Forks Over Knives, and I don't think it's Cowspiracy.
Knives Out, that's a good one.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Just
There's
saying,
another one that has
Daniel
to do with
Knives Out's a good one.
Yeah, that is good. His accent in that one.
Who's
the
the girl?
second
Who's the
one,
girl?
Glass
Who's the
Onion,
girl
that was good. Anna de Armatis or
She was good
something.
too.
I don't know. Well, she's absolutely gorgeous. Also,
That doesn't make you a good actress.
no, but if you, I feel like people will watch longer if you're not, unattractive.
I mean,
I feel like that's why they cast certain people. Like Megan Fox can't act to get herself out of a shoebox. She's still in a bunch of movies.
I mean, you pay for the ticket. You're gonna watch it.
Yeah, that's true. That too. What was I saying?
And you really only watch to see. You really only watch to see
how bad it's gonna
what
be.
after credit scene shows up. It's like I'm only here for the after credits.
You just snuck in after a different movie. I don't remember what I was gonna say. It was probably not that important anyway.
The government messing with the crops.
Oh yeah, there's a documentary that I watched having to do with pig farmers in North Carolina and how with the cancer and everything with the population right around the pig farms, how high the cancer population is because of the chemicals that are sprayed on all these things and just all kinds of stuff, and something that had to do with a lot of the seeds, and I think it's Monsanto. I always never know if it's Monsanto or Monsanto. I don't think there's an N in there. How if they find out you are not using their seeds or you're not using their fertilizer or something like that, they will literally destroy your stuff and take you to court and for soybeans and stuff.
Wow, that's super proprietary.
Yes, extremely proprietary. So I cannot remember the name of the documentary. Y'all, if you know it, put it in the comments because it's very important to watch.
Well, the other thing that's important to watch is the speed, because that's the other thing. It's weird. The Porsche we switched over to KMH
Kilometers.
from MPH, but every time I start the car, it goes back to MPH.
It goes back to its factory settings.
Nope. I just set it. I just set the key. Let's see if it stays next time.
Okay.
But they do say, you know, be careful speeding through here because it's not miles per hour. It's,
Oh, they told us that as soon as we left the, you know, detainment area. They're like, just, you know, pay attention. You don't want to be doing 110 miles per hour, 100 kilometers. Yeah.
That would be epic.
Yeah.
That would be like, yeah.
So.
We would have a whole new video to bring you. Hey, check out the inside of this jail cell.
Yeah. Canadian police are so nice.
But when we get out of Canada and get back to the States, it's funny how you say the States.
Mm-hmm.
You said that like it was second nature today.
When?
You came out of Costco and you were like, yeah, compared to the States. I'm like, you say it like you've been international for forever, like the States.
No. I just didn't know how else to phrase it.
America?
No. States made more sense.
Georgia? Florida? Really Georgia because we haven't been to Costco.
That's what I talked about the whole time, yeah.
We drove by. Did you see that house? That's a nice house.
There was one like that had 3 on the right side.
That's
with the
nice.
red. See, they have some nice houses here.
Shoot.
Right?
But did you see the one with the American flag?
No.
I didn't expect to see American flags up here.
Why? Americans live here?
They do.
They do.
America.
What's that all about?
But when we get back, I need to get tires. We got to find a discount tire.
Yeah, you do.
We have worn these down to the nub.
I'd like them to not go in the middle of driving somewhere.
Or I can order a new set of wheels and get tires then. I'm trying to just get a new set of wheels.
I was about to say, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Hear me out. Hear me out. I can get a new set of wheels and a squared setup so that the tires are the same size. And then I can rotate the tires. Because these tires wore out quick because I can't rotate them because we're staggered. It's a value play.
Value play. Is it a trade these in to get the new ones, or is it keep a whole entire set in the garage as a backup just in case?
I mean, I could put these on...
Tim Hortons is packed.
I could put these on Facebook Marketplace or something. Somebody probably want to buy them.
Okay.
I get a lot of compliments on these wheels.
I love these wheels.
Me too. But either way, thank you guys for joining us. We've got another 290 kilometers to go. Who knows? Maybe we'll record another video on the way.